Tonight, Stephanie takes a repeated pounding inside the nutter. And have fun in seeing that. I'm John Ritten with the retro review of WWE Smackdown from September 27, 2001. Yes, it's from the Nutter in Dayton, Ohio. I promise you that I react to that name with the good taste and maturity that everybody has come to expect from me, and if you expect that, you are clearly new to this channel. But thank you for watching if you are new to this channel. I'm continuing to retro review the entire invasion angle, speeding towards No Mercy 2001, and then heading right towards the speed trap and the roadblock, end of the line, that was Survivor Series 2001, where everything came to a goddamn screeching halt with a whole goddamn amalgamation and stuff, human centipede together, and yes, I'm going to continue to say that, of moving parts that really didn't fucking go anywhere. This whole invasion angle was a goddamn dumpster fire. Anyway, yep, let's talk about Dayton, Ohio, inside the Nutter, the busted Nutter. Nutter.no, you know what, not going to say that. Cole and Heyman on commentary, because Taz was in WWF New York, I guess, because they, we're doing the Tough Enough, finale there. The finale, if you will. So, Kane and Taker took on Test and Booker T in a WCW Tag Team Championship match out of nowhere. And everybody kept wondering where Austin was. Well, commentary was. Maybe fans were, but we couldn't hear the fans except their loud, loud cheering because they came over themselves inside the Nutter. I'm going to continue to make those jokes because it wasn't adulation, it was a chat. Moving on. So, this went a bit. There was a lot of big men slapping into each other. Shane kept interfering. He pulled out the ref. Booker attacked Kane. But then Kane later fought off with Test. And then we get a choke slam. And then a chair shot from Shane to Undertaker. But Shane takes his last ride. And then a chair to the head. Booker covers 1, 2, 3. So Test and Booker T, for absolutely no reason, win the WCW tag titles. But it's the best way, I guess, to get them off the Brothers of Destruction. And then they leave in a limo. They're like, shit, we're going to get destroyed. So we get recaps of the Austin Angle controversy and every controversy, if you will. Regal was upset about the tag title situation and says, okay, the Dudleys are going to take on Angle and Rock. And there's no way these two champions can't possibly win the tag team championships, except that was his first mistake to assume that. Or maybe I assumed that he assumed that. Maybe everybody's assuming. Assumeception. So anyway, we get Rhino, RVD, and Kanyon talking backstage about Austin. RVD, being a leader, and Kanyon thanking him and everything. And it's a real shame what happened to Kanyon a few years later. It really is. I think Kanyon would have been invaluable to wrestling even now, because he was very innovative and apparently a really nice guy. The Hardys with Lita took on Rhino and Kanyon. Interesting mix. It wasn't bad. It was short in the previous match. We get a melee. Twist of fate on Kanyon 1, 2, 3 because Kanyon got his throat put on the ropes because Lita was like, ha ha ha, I'm not going to be outsmarted again. And then X-Pac was upset at Regal, wants a rematch, but Regal says, nope, I'm going to watch you get beat up by the Big Show. Because why not? Christian then arrives in the same goddamn hat in a limousine, refuses an autograph for a kid that, where did that kid come from? Genuine question, did he appear out of the wall? So anyway, Big Show took on X-Pac with Albert. It was fine. Choke slam for 3 in a couple minutes. Albert attacks Big Show. Spike comes down, hits the Dudley Dog on Albert, and then X-Pac hit Spike in the head with the championship because he had the light heavyweight championship and the cruiserweight championship. And they didn't really go anywhere with this because this was around the same time where in a couple weeks X-Pac was going to go with China to Japan for her New Japan run. And if you saw the China documentary, which further proof that goddamn manager belongs in a goddamn prison for what he fucking did. And I mean for life, because good fucking grief. Yeah, X-Pac wasn't going to be around the company very much longer. And the championship would just be quietly retired. And the Cruiserweight Championship would be brought back later. So Stephanie booked a rematch with RVD versus Jericho and said, after what happened on Monday, RVD says, don't do me any favors. Steph, I happen to be very good at doing favors. Stop thinking about it. I know you're thinking about it. Rock and Angle are talking about tonight's tag match. Angle talks about celebrating. He says, I know what you want. I know what you need. It's like, this place has plenty of strudel. He's like, no, The Rock likes pie. The Rock has the people strudel. And then he says pie, strudel, it's all pastries, Angle says, and talks about, well, you know what goes great with that? Milk. I like these big jugs of milk. I'm going to go grab the first big jugs of milk I can get in the cafeteria. Angle being aloof and not understanding what the fuck he's saying was like one of the best things about this invasion angle. Just absolutely hilarious. And then Stephanie joins commentary for this match, which is RVD versus Jericho for the hardcore title. And basically Stephanie takes a repeated pounding all over her back and front, which kind of, summarizes her character. On camera. Only on camera. And she gets beat up a lot, so RVD and Jericho do some of the contrived spots where they end up hitting into her and everything. And poor Tim White. Poor Tim White. Van Daminator, 1, 2, 3. And then Steph gets carried off and cared for by the various invasion or various alliance members. And they made Mike Awesome look like an idiot because he didn't get her a glass for her water and ice, even though she had a bag of ice right there. Stephanie, not known for her intelligence. Philanthropy is the future of marketing. It's the way brands are going to win. DDP then does more of a self-help guru thing and says, you know, I've lost, but I did my best. I lost this match, but that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. You like me, I like me, and I'm going to help you like you. And does that goddamn weird smile and everything. But you know what? DDP is doing a lot of really good stuff with DDPY. And this is going to be shorter than the Raw review that I did, you know, the Raw that happened just before this, because this was a lot of repeat stuff with, like, just angles and everything kind of like bleeding over. And again, SmackDown, even though it was seen as more of a wrestling-based show, there was less stuff that happened on it. You know, because if you had the same stuff repeated, if you're reviewing it episodically like I am, then why, repeat the same things anyway as I repeat the same jokes. So, Bradshaw, runs into Christian after Christian said, oh shit, Edge is here. Bradshaw, I need protection. Bradshaw shoves him down. No, I'm going to go demand an Intercontinental Championship from Regal. And Farouk, I think, was gone for a bit because I think he had some kind of injury. I know he had like a giant thing on his elbow, so maybe he had like an issue they need to have addressed. Then we get Ivory versus Molly Holly. Really all this was the women being sent out there to not have the crowd care for much of what they do, even though these are two very talented women, were before this point, and I'm sure still are even now, even though Ivory had been wrestling for a number of years, and Molly had been, Molly really got it, and Molly Holly apparently one of the nicest people in wrestling. I've never met her, but apparently she is really nice. They tried. There was a nice arm focus by Ivory, and eventually they did a head-on-head collision. And then Molly was knocked out. Ivory covers 1, 2, 3, and then Hurricane rescues her, takes her to the Hurricycle, and you want a loud motorcycle to drown out the pounding headache that you have. That absolutely works. Hell, it was great logic in that movie, Rotor. Man, if you've seen that movie, I'm very sorry. But anyway, gets carried away on the Hurricycle. And then Kurt's talking to The Rock about his book and possible tension and everything, because Rock's like, hey, you beat me at No Mercy 2000. Remember when I beat you at No Way Out 2001? Ha ha ha. Did Kurt ever get a hold of the jugs of milk that he wanted? The big jugs? I wonder about this to this very day. Wondering about Kurt getting his hands on jugs. Anyway, Bradshaw lost to Christian after Christian got his golden showers interrupted by Bradshaw because Bradshaw didn't want to see anybody's number one maneuver. And this is before Randy Orton came along with his own maneuver, so let's move on from that. Bradshaw tossed him around. Christian ran away. They battled backstage, and Christian got in a limo and then got beat up by Edge and ran away like he saw a ghost. And Edge was like, I have a bad eye, but I beat up Christian. Ha-ha! I don't think he said it like that. Angle and Rock took on the Dudleys in a WWE Tag Team Championship match, but first, a limo shows up. Who's in the limo? I mean, it was probably Austin. Maybe it was Vince. We're not really sure. Big fight feel, and really it was just about could Rock and Angle get along, and Angle got beat up for a while. Rock eventually got the hot tag. Dueling submissions. Booker and Test and Shane came back down, even though they've been celebrating. There must have been a club right across the goddamn streets, and they must have been drunk as hell. And Earl got knocked out, and then with 3D through the table to Angle, and then through another table to Rock. So that's it, a non-finish to close the show. Hooray, the invasion angle. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.